Hi, this is David Davis, and this is vChat edition number 20, and this is our VMworld special edition, and we're going to just call it the Stack of Crap edition because I have a stack of VMworld crap sitting right here that we're going to talk about. Again, my name is David Davis, and I'm from VMwareVideos.com.
I'm Eric Siebert from vSphere.com.
And I'm Simon Seagrave from techhead.co.uk.
Yeah, so thanks for joining me, guys. This is really cool. We got a lot of VMworld stuff to talk about. I guess let's start off with Eric. Eric has a big announcement that he can share with us.
Yeah, actually it's probably known by a lot of people already, but I've recently changed jobs and have accepted a position with HP in their marketing department dealing with storage. So my official title is Worldwide Solutions Manager for the storage division. So it's definitely a big change for me in that, you know, I've never really I've always been kind of in a more technical capacity my whole career. My last job I've been at for 18 years. You know, this whole writing and blogging and everything, social media thing has been kind of a side gig for me for the last 5 years. So it's a big change. You know, it's a marketing position. It's not as technical or hands-on. It's still dealing with all the technology and that. You know, I'm pretty heavily involved with storage and the servers and converged infrastructure and clouds and all that stuff at HP. So I've been there about a month now, and I gotta tell you, there's just a ton to learn. Just, you know, from the organization-wise, HP is a humongous company, so I've got a lot to learn there. Just how everything functions within HP. And then, of course, you know, the HP product line and that, I'm trying to really get a lot more information on that and get technical on that as well. So, but so far I enjoy it. It's definitely a big step up for me, and, you know, it's something that I've been haven't really been actively looking. HP just came, you know, knocking. They've been bugging me for a while and finally, you know, offered me this position, and I'm really glad I accepted it.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
See, we have to be careful that we just don't start talking about storage purely. With myself working for EMC, you're working in the storage arm of HP now.
Yeah, we need David to go to Dell now or something, or NetApp.
yeah, there you go.
One of each.
No, I'm not that crazy about storage. I'll let you guys talk about it. Well, that's awesome. So, did Calvin pay you in those Idaho Spud candy bars? Did he give you some of those to join up? Or
no, actually I did get one though when I was out at Tech Field Day. He brought a stash of those. Oh, yeah? So I have had one of those. So okay. But yeah, you know, it took. You know, like I said, I wasn't really looking, and to me it had to be the perfect opportunity. I really had to like the company I was working for in that, and you know, I just really took my time to making sure it was a really good fit before I kind of dove in and that. I really didn't want to have any regrets going to it. So you know, I talked to Calvin. When I interviewed, actually, I talked to, I think, 6 different people. Mark Farley was another one, and a bunch of other people within HP. And you know, after talking and going through the whole process and that, I kind of you know, made a decision that it'd be a good fit for me.
Oh, cool. Did Boston Market give you like a pension of like chicken and mashed potatoes or anything?
Yeah, no, I wish. But got nothing.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, cool. So, Simon, what have you been up to?
I have been head down, bum up for about the last probably 6 to 8 weeks, getting ready for VMworld. So I'm part of the tech enablement team. So the team I'm part of, we're responsible for creating everything from the keynotes for Chad and a lot of the execs, EMC execs, right through to sort of the interactive demos that we have at the booth, the creation of some sort of, as well as the demos, the collateral. Me personally, I was tasked with managing and running with the creation of a lab for the large VMworld lab environment this year. So what VMware have done this year, they reached out to a few of their partners and invited them along to provide a single lab for their their 400 seat hands-on lab environment. So that's what I've been doing, is putting that together. It's been a lot of fun, actually. It's been long hours, been challenging, because obviously, they're running the environment on vCloud Director 1.5 with vSphere. We obviously want to do we obviously want to showcase all our latest stuff, but quite often you're dealing with pre-release code on a lot of things, and so that presents a lot of challenges. But at the same time, it's a lot of fun. A good load of people I've been working with, both inside the company and also at VMware as well. So that's what I've been doing, long hours, and I'm looking forward to seeing it all come together now.
So all that work and you're not even going?
No, unfortunately not. No, not in this instance. But I get to see it in action at VMworld Copenhagen. So I look forward to that. But
cool.
I know it's in capable hands with the rest of my team over there. So
yeah, it should be another great event. So with the labs, are you guys at EMC? Do you have your own labs, or is it just VMware that's going to have their own labs, or how's that going to work at VMworld?
So we've got the one single lab, which is sort of definitely a full hour length lab at the main VMworld lab area. We don't have any. We have demonstrations, obviously, at the booth and everything, and we do have a separate area where we've actually got interactive demos, so people can come along and get hands-on time with these interactive demos. So we have about 10 different labs in total there. So it's kind of good. We've tried it in past years, and people like coming along and actually getting hands-on time with these. So definitely worth coming along to and trying out. So what about you, David? When are you heading over to Vegas?
I'm leaving for Vegas at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning in time to make the vExpert meeting in the afternoon, and then the VM Underground party, later that night. So I wrapped up my vSphere 5 video training course with Elias Knaser. He and I kind of split up the course in order to get it done before VMworld. So we're excited about that. We're going to have like 300 copies for sale in the bookstore, and I'm hoping that that it does well. We're also going to have 3,000 brand new 2011 edition vNerd shirts to give away in the booth.
Cool.
So
very cool.
Yeah, I'll make sure I get you one, Simon.
I was going to say you have to keep one of those back for me, man. That's
okay.
Don't forget me.
And then what's that?
Don't forget me. I need one.
Oh, I'll make sure you get one too.
You'll be there.
I know.
See, I need new t-shirts. I need new t-shirts. See, I'm still wearing.
All I got is.
So you can tell this is
my old VMworld.
See, this is how us big geeks. That's how we dress ourselves throughout the rest of the year. And you can tell it's old because I've got the old logo. You see?
Yeah.
Collector's item. Very trendy in some areas, I'd imagine.
That's right. So then, Kenny and I have been practicing our session that we're going to talk about on free tools again this year. So, we're excited about that. A lot of cool stuff to talk about.
So, are you allowed to give anything away around that? Has there been much movement? I imagine there's quite a few new tools come out in a 12-month period, and.
Yeah, there's a lot of new tools, and a lot of tools that even went away. I mean, for example, like Quest, they had a free version of vFoglight, which is now no longer available. It was called vFoglight QuickView. So that was like one of our top 10 tools last year, and this year it's not even available anymore. And then there's VMware Labs has done such an amazing job with so many new tools, like the iPad client, Project Onyx. A cool one I just played with called Boomerang, which is like a quick launch for your vSphere virtual machines. Just a lot of cool stuff that they've come out with. So I think in our top 10 tools, like 5 of them now are from VMware Labs in just 1 year. So it's amazing what they've done, since last VMworld. And then a lot of the third-party companies, are launching new free tools like Zengotti. They revved up their free version, has a lot of new features, easier install, stuff like that. They just launched this week. We'll be talking about that. vKernels, got some other, new free tools. So a lot of cool stuff to talk about.
I always think with the free tools, I think for any sort of any company, either established company out there or any new company coming to market, great way to get people hooked in there is to provide like a free sort of VMware or I guess any sort of virtualization related tool, to get their name out there, get people using their products. Think think right back with Veeam with Fast SCP. That's still widely used to this day, and it's definitely one of the standard tools I keep in my sort of VMware toolbox, as it were.
Yeah, from a marketing perspective, it's really a great way just to really market your product and get visibility to really, people are going to come for your free tool, but they may stay and look at the rest of your product. So, or they may upgrade to a more advanced version of that tool that you're given for free. So, yeah, there's really, I think, no better way to actually get your name out there is to put some development and some focus into some sort of free tool that people can use and to get your product a lot of exposure.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, another company that's coming out with a new tool is VM Turbo. They've got a really impressive virtual appliance that you can import, and about half of the functionality is enabled, and it's really useful actually. I'm always impressed at the companies that give away something that's so useful that you could use it every day. It's not just like a one-time oh well, that's kind of cool, and then you put it away. But a tool like FastSCP, Zangati for vSphere, and VM Turbo to me are some of the tools that they're completely free and you could use every day. Same thing with the iPad client for vSphere. I tried that out for the first time actually this week. You can import vCenter Mobile Access and then download the free iPad client. And I mean, it's still limited in its functionality, but it's completely free and it's pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in the development cycle on that. They really haven't seemed to have done a whole lot since they released it. They promised quick updates and stuff like that, but it's really kind of lagged. So I'd like to see a lot more with that, and it just really hasn't. I don't think it's really actually all that usable or useful in its current iteration. That they really need to do just put some more basic functionality in there, like vMotion, for example, or remote consoles or things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I kind of thought, I can only think they may have a large update sort of that they're working on at the moment. So maybe that's something they're going to perhaps, launch or announce. I haven't heard anything, but it would kind of make sense because I had that sort of patch update. That last release was more a bug fix more than sort of adding new functionality. There was a few new features in there which were pretty cool. But, I think it's almost, it's probably about 60% there as a client, but if they could just finish off that last little bit, refine it, like you say, add some features like vMotion to it, it'd be a fantastic tool. It really would
definitely.
be.
Yeah, one of my beefs with VMware is, sometimes they announce projects and then they just sort of let them sit, like VMware Data Recovery, when it comes to backing up, the virtual infrastructure, they kind of announce it and then they don't do much with it. The vSphere client for the iPad. It seems like sometimes they do things so they can kind of say, oh yeah, me too, we have that, and then they don't really enhance it or market it very well. So.
And the products tend to be good enough, but not great. Where a lot of if you really want a great or better product, you go to the third-party, vendor ecosystem.
Yeah. But I don't want to stay negative, so let's move on and let's go. Let's talk some more about VMworld. So, what about what's going on with the tweet up, Eric?
That will be. We kind of put that together at the last minute. I initially wasn't going to get involved, and John was going to kind of organize it. And then kind of at the last minute, I kind of got involved, and so I worked with John. We got some sponsors, and we're all set now, so it's going to be Monday from 7:30 to 9:30 at the V-Bar, appropriately named, where we actually had it last time we were in Vegas. It wasn't really a tweet up then, it was more a community meeting a few years ago when we were in Vegas and that. So basically it's invitation only. We got a limited number of seats. I couldn't believe the pricing that the V-Bar wanted compared to, like last year we had it at the B-Bar and the Moscone and that. And man, I tell you, it was 3-4 times more expensive than San Francisco. So it's kind of had to limit the number of people in that. But I think we opened it up to 200, expecting maybe 150 to go. HP is one of the main primary sponsors. I think VCE is also a primary sponsor. Then we got some smaller sponsors like Zangati and that. So it should be fun. I know HP is doing at least one giveaway. I think they're giving away a microserver. So definitely worth it to stop by. Good stuff given away.
Good giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So
that's pretty good. So talking about San Francisco and Vegas, there, what's the better venue for you guys in your opinion? What do you prefer?
Personally, I prefer San Francisco. Vegas is too busy, too many distractions, and I don't know. It just seems like a vacation more than a business trip. With all the fun things they have there. San Francisco, there's it's a little bit more spread out, but it's you get more to see. You get the city there, kind of interact with in that. There's things to see and do there. Vegas, it's pretty much maybe gambling and partying and nightlife and things like that. So for me, I actually like San Francisco better.
Yeah, I like San Francisco too. I mean, the city's got culture, it's got class, and so many different things to do. But I do wish, for the people who go to VMworld every year, I wish that they would branch out to some other cities other than just Vegas and San Francisco.
Yeah,
I don't have a specific city in mind, but
I want to see Orlando, Florida, somewhere sunny and warm, and maybe on a beach.
Yeah.
I hear Vegas is pretty warm at the moment. It's almost too warm. I hear it's crazy temperatures there.
Cabo San Lucas.
Hey, well, the other thing is as well, obviously since we last spoke, they've announced who the band's going to be for the party on it's Wednesday night, isn't it? So the Killers. So I think that's a very good choice, in my opinion.
Don't get me started on that one.
No,
I never even heard of
fan.
No, I mean, you would think with the money VMware has and pours into these events, it could at least go with a big name band, something a little bit more. I know that the bands they've had in the past are kind of big name, but they're older bands. So more of a more current big name band. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I love the Killers." It seems to be a smaller group though, and I've heard some people say, "Who are the Killers?" and why can VMware do a better job of that? So
maybe they haven't had the exposure over there, because over here in the UK, everyone pretty much knows who the Killers are.
Okay,
they're really popular. I saw them play at Glastonbury about 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and they put on a really good show. Good show.
Yeah, I honestly never even heard of them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Killers. I'm not like a big fan before this, but they've got a couple songs that I just really want to see them perform. So I was excited to see that they at least have a band that like has 2 songs that I really want to see. I was afraid they were going to announce some like dried up 80s band where the singers are like over 65.
I was hoping for Huey Lewis or REO Speedwagon.
There was talk about Phil Collins for a while, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Now that would have been good.
But look at HP at Discover. They had Paul McCartney there. It'd be great to see some type of bigger name at one of these events.
At Cisco Live, they had, not for a band, but as a speaker at one of the keynotes, they had William Shatner. So I was hoping that, VMware would have William Shatner. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be definitely be nice to see them kind of step it up a notch with bringing in some of the actors or bands or anything to kind of liven up the show instead of listening to the same old people for the keynotes with Steve and Paul and Rick. It'd be nice to have a little bit of variety in there.
Yeah, the Killers are actually out of Las Vegas. I looked it up on their website. They live in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was reading that. I was surprised.
So they don't have to travel far.
So VMware must have got a discount. Yeah.
So
have to pay for hotel rooms.
It is what it is. So.
So I hear there's an HP cloud cocktail reception. I'm going to that. You said you're going too, Eric?
Yeah, that's Tuesday at I believe 5:30. It's a select group of bloggers, some pretty big name people actually. You'll be surprised with the list. There's a lot of the big name bloggers and other people in the industry that you'll see there. That should be a really good event. A lot of the technology people from HP will kind of be giving presentations there. And then right after that, we have kind of a blogger dinner right after that. That's another invitation only thing. So
cool. And then you're speaking at the vExpert meeting on Sunday.
Yeah, I got roped into that at the last minute. I still have to do a presentation. Kind of just, I think Duncan was initially slated for the one spot, and he had something else he had to go to. So John tapped me, and basically it's going to kind of cover my experiences with blogging, writing, how my career has matured over the years and that. So I'll just kind of cover all that in a short 20 or 30 minutes. And then after me, they have Stephen Foskett's going to be presenting.
Oh, cool. So that'll be awesome. So it's interesting now how we have a vExpert meeting, which is like 3 hours long, I think, and then we have Steve's exclusive, only 100-person party.
Yeah, exclusive.
Yeah, I heard about that. So it's not every vExpert now. So it's only, how many people is it? 100 people, you're saying?
100. And, I mean, they planned it at the last minute, so they couldn't find space. I mean, I would think in Vegas finding space would be pretty easy, but So because of that, they can only invite 100 of the 300 vExperts. I don't know how many are actually going to be there, probably at least 150 or so. So a lot of the vExperts get excluded. I didn't get invited. I know Scott Lowe's not invited. I think, David, you were on the list, weren't you?
Yeah, I somehow I'm on the list.
Okay.
But yeah, it's weird.
Supposedly a randomly chosen, and it wasn't really John's fault. It was another group that kind of drives that party, that CTO party within VMware. So, it's unfortunate they really planned it so late, and, a lot of people are going to get excluded now because of that. So we'll see. They're supposed to be sending out another round of invitations from the initial round of people that couldn't make it. So maybe people that can't get in will eventually be able to get in.
Yeah, I hope so. So what about vSphere 5? Did you guys hear? Is that thing out yet? Oh, look.
Yeah. I got my trophy from the launch event. This big chunk of
When did you get that?
I was hanging around after the event, waiting for the limo to come pick me up, and most of the people are gone already. And one of the VMware organizers was like, "Here, you want this?" And I'm like, "Sure." It says, vSphere 5 on it, and in the back it's got the launch date event. So
that's the coolest paperweight ever.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. I got an extra scan in my luggage because of this in my backpack when I checked in at the airport. Figuring out what the heck this thing was. So yeah, it's out, and it's
ready for download.
Obviously, you got the whole licensing thing that they adjusted, which I think are going to have a lot of people maybe not rushing to adopt it really quick as they reevaluate their licensing and whether they're going to have to pony out extra money or not. But I don't think this really isn't a big release like the last one. vSphere 4 was huge compared to this one with a lot more features. So I think this one isn't, while there are some good key features and a lot of them are storage related, I think this one you'll probably see a little bit slower adoption towards this release than you did with the vSphere 4. And there's obviously going to be a lot more planning going to this one as well, because now you don't have ESX anymore, you only have ESXi. So those shops that are mainly ESX today are going to have to figure out their migration paths to ESXi, come up to speed on it and all that. So but I look forward to playing around with it more. I've been in the beta and that, so now that it's finally out, it's good to see that it's out there, so everybody can start playing around with it and enjoying the new features and functionality in it.
Mm. Yeah, for me, version 5, I think actually version 5 for me is actually quite exciting. I think it's the first release where it's starting to get to some of the real mature features and functionality in it. I agree with you. I think going forward, I think the adoption is probably going to slow up a little bit, because it almost gets to a point that, if you think back to other products, it's not really comparable, but let's, for argument's sake, let's say, things like Microsoft Word. Well, those of us who use Microsoft Word every couple of days type of thing, the functionality we use in it was probably very good back in, early 2000s type of thing. So we could be using a very early version. So the later versions, they had all these extra bells and whistles, but a lot of people don't end up using it. Yeah. So I kind of suspect, with most products, as of many Microsoft products as well, I think VMware are going to find themselves in a similar situation potentially, because people will go, well, my current version 4 or whatever it is, does what I want it to do on a day-to-day basis, and as long as there's regular security updates coming out for the for the products, I think people they'll find people will be happy to skip a version before they do the big upgrade. Perhaps I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. There was some standout features, like the storage DRS. One thing I particularly like, which I've been playing with, is the vCenter server now as an appliance, and that. Real easy to deploy now. Don't have to worry about that database anymore. It's automatically packaged in that. All the advanced functionality that you normally have to deploy now with vSphere 5 for like the auto deploy features is all packaged into that appliance and that. So that's one I really like personally, was that appliance model for vCenter server finally.
Yeah, I haven't played with that as yet. It's definitely on my to-do list, though.
Yeah, that's cool.
It sounds pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, for my home lab, I just didn't want to go through all the crap to deploy that thing and set up the database and all that. So a few clicks just deploying the appliance, it was up and running, and I'm good to go. And it has pretty much all the functionality. You can't do linked mode and some other things, but everything's pretty much there and that. So you're not really missing out on much by using the appliance over the standard installation.
Actually, it's very good you mentioned that, actually, because this evening I was actually going to upgrade my lab, and I'm running an earlier version of vSensor. So yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna try that out. Actually, I'll give that a go. Good opportunity. Cool. So
yeah, I really want to play with auto deploy. Elias did like an hour-long video on auto deploy in our course that I haven't watched yet, but I really think it's intriguing how you could just roll out like multiple ESXi hosts, in sort of one suite.
Yeah, that's
I think that'd be a cool feature.
It's cool, and I actually just did an article on this, so I'm pretty familiar with the feature. I didn't know much about it going into it. I thought it was just more of a kickstart, deploying like that, like you're deploying images. But it's stateless is what it's about. You're not actually deploying any image to your host anymore. It runs completely stateless. Every time that host boots, it pulls the image down from the auto deploy server. So you really got to be careful about your architecture with this, because if any part of that architecture is not available, you can't boot your host anymore. And that, if the auto deploy server is a VM and it's on a host, well, how are you going to boot that host? Because that VM is enough to pull the image down off of, and that. So there's a lot of key architecture decisions you have to make to really make this thing resilient, and that. So don't find yourself in a situation where you can't boot your host anymore because your architecture is not there. And that, but it's definitely a cool feature. I like how it's a bit complicated too. If you run through, and maybe that training course would be great for people looking to deploy it, because if you read through the documentation, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of steps to it. A lot of components to set up. You have to use Image Builder as well to build these images and maintain it. A lot of it's command line stuff and Power CLI stuff. So there's a lot to it, but it's really, I think, a totally cool feature where we used to have booting off our USB sticks, and now we don't even need that anymore. We can just boot directly from a Pixie NIC and pull our images down.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the vSphere web client too. I really like where they're going with that. It's fast and light. I mean, it's kind of a 1.0 version. I know they have a lot more things to add. Like, what are they going to do with plugins? Like right now, there's no plugins for the vSphere web client, but it's nice and it's functional and can do most of what you want to do. So
is it still limited to VM management? Whereas before you couldn't manage the host at all. Can you manage the host at all now?
Oh yeah, you can manage the hosts.
Okay.
You can do, I would say 80 to 90% of what you would normally want to do. Yeah, it's pretty functional. And they said the traditional Windows client in the next release, whenever that is going to go away, is what I heard. So we'll see.
Interesting.
But they have to figure out what to do about plugins and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So this is good news for Mac users out there, isn't it? Because that's always been a complaint by sort of Mac
Linux
users out there. They don't have a native client. So.
Yeah, because now with this web client coupled with that vCenter server appliance, you really won't need to be reliant on Windows that much at all anymore. And that you can do, all Linux environments don't have to have Windows shoved in there to do some of the components in that. And then, Apple's becoming more popular as well. So cool.
Yeah, like with the vCenter server appliance that you were talking about, the vSphere web client server piece is automatically part of that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you deploy vCenter for Windows, then you have to install the separate vSphere web client server.
Right.
So, and then I found it interesting on the licensing even, like if you want to view the status of your VRAM pooled pricing in the traditional Windows client, you have to load the vSphere web client server on your vCenter server, because that's actually a web-based report.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they did that because they didn't want to tip their hand during the beta and that, so they didn't want to put too much licensing reporting in there, because they would have kind of given away the licensing model. So I think that's why there is very limited, kind of reporting and that inside of vCenter right now, because, if they would have done that in the beta, everybody would have known ahead of time that licensing model was coming.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, I saw this morning a blog post from VMware that there's 140 new features. And obviously, they took some features and they expanded them out to be a little bit more detailed to cover, up to 140. But there's actually a lot of things on there that I was like, hey, I don't remember that. I need to go check that out. So I even printed the list so I can go down and kind of check off, to make sure I really know what all 140 features are. Yeah. Because that's a lot.
But, of that, there's maybe 10, 15 big ones and a lot of minor stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, some pretty exciting ones in there. That list was pretty good, actually. I had to skim through that as well, and yeah, definitely worth having a look at. Guaranteed there's bound to be some in there that you didn't know about.
So next week, Eric and I are going to record a vChat live at VMworld, and live
from Las Vegas.
So that'll be cool.
From Las Vegas.
Eric and David.
That's right. That's right. So, Eric, you have anything else to talk about?
No, not really. Just, got a lot of packing and everything else to do to get ready for Vegas and that. So we'll see you all down there, or see David down there, and anybody else watching, and look forward to it. And
I'm just going to, you guys are going to have to tweet a lot and a lot of blog posts, because I'm going to live vicariously through you guys for about 4 days there. So be listening to the keynote, watching the live stream of that as well. So
and of course, you have theCUBE, which is kind of like the ESPN of tech shows and that I'm actually on Tuesday, I think, at 3:15. I'm on a panel on theCUBE. A lot of other notable bloggers, industry people, and all that on theCUBE. So that's always good to watch. So you can really keep up on what's going on at VMworld as well.
That should be
awesome.
Good. And definitely, and for everyone coming along, come and check out the lab, the EMC lab at the VMworld labs there. So I'd be interested to get your feedback on it. And yeah, and hope to catch up with you guys over in Copenhagen, I guess.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thanks guys. Thanks guys for joining me on our VMworld Stack of Crap vChat number 20. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of vChat, the latest in virtualization and cloud computing news and how-to. Eric, Simon, and David want your feedback, so send questions or ideas for future vChat topics to vChat@trainsignal.com.